So we are at some cheese tasting time. And one of the things is we've been trying lots of cheeses to go, what do we really want and want to make more often?
Yeah.
And that feta that, we Frankenstein, I wanted us to do a taste of that. Do we want to continue? Not that we use a lot of feta, more in the summertime. So even if we made a batch of feta. So let's try the feta first. Okay. So it is, kind of firm.
No, it's firm. It's like feta.
A little creamier.
But that's nice.
Make it again?
Yeah.
But just maybe once in the summertime or twice in the summertime.
Yeah.
This is a Caerphilly, and normally we make it round. And this one, I think I dried a little extra long. And
Yeah, that's this one?
yeah.
Okay.
I wanted to make it, talking food in my mouth, I wanted to make it square. This one's a little drier than before. And very salty. I think I dried it too long and I kept salting it. So.
But it does have a buttery finish. Like creamy finish.
Right, so could we use it in place of a Parmesan? It's like if we're making Caesar salad, grate it.
I would do that, and I would also probably do it with, see what the melting point is, and do like a cacio e pepe.
I don't know what a cacio e pepe is.
Pasta.
Oh.
Yeah, pasta with pepper and cheese. It is on the, so good.
Then let's try Havarti Dill. 100%.
Yeah. Great mouthfeel, really nice taste as well. I love the dill.
And that was fresh dill that we had. And the last one is our Pickled Peppered Havarti, yeah. It took a little longer. Oh, this is not the last one. We still have one more. So I just chopped the pickled peppers. You're supposed to use dry herbs when you're making them, but both mine were wet, so I think these Havartis took a little longer.
It's very good. Has to be made again.
100%. The last one is, which I haven't cut into yet, is our just plain Havarti. And I'm wondering if I'm going to be sad that I made such a big one, because boy, that dill and a little taste of plain Havarti.
That's super nice.
Yeah, I'm not disappointed.
No, I'm not upset.
No.
No, that's very tasty.
Yeah, so today's cheese making?
Havarti.
Havarti. Want to try plain Havarti? Oh, but it's cold outside. It's snowing here. Well, it's not snowing now, but it was snowing in the night. So, as you can see, we had lovely snow, which is going to keep me in the kitchen a little longer. Plus Thursday, it's cheese making day. So I'm gonna be starting with 10 liters of milk, raising this up to 32 Celsius, I believe. So just a gentle warm. And I'm going to be adding our mesophilic starter and some calcium chloride and our rennet. I'll be back shortly. So we got it up to temperature to 32 degrees Celsius, and then we added our mesophilic starter, and now we put the lid on and we let it sit for 30 minutes. So come back in 30 minutes. So there's our 30 minutes done. So now we're going to add our calcium chloride. Give that a little stir. Check our temperature. Make sure we're still at our 32, which we are. And then we're going to add our rennet. And just a quick stir. And then we're going to let it sit for another 40 minutes, and then we'll be able to cut the curd. Yay! So while we're waiting for that to set, why don't we chop up the peppers? I've left them, they are a little bit on the big side, but I kind of liked it a little bit more chunky, and hopefully I have enough, or hopefully I don't have too much, but nonetheless I'll just make a dip or something with the leftovers. We will just wait for our milk to set, and then we'll be ready to cut. Come back in a few minutes. 40 minutes has passed. Let's go cut. Yay! So we're going to just check our temperature, make sure that we're still at a decent amount. So we're still sitting at 32 degrees Celsius. Now what we're going to do is just start to stir the curds and to let them break up more. And as I'm stirring them, they are giving off more of the whey. And also in there, I'll be able to, get the ones that are at the bottom that haven't been cut, and I'll be able to cut them so that, again, they will be releasing whey as we go along. So you can see it's releasing all the whey, and we're getting these bigger chunks, and then I can just easily cut them with my spoon as we just kind of gently lift from the bottom up. Smaller pieces will start to sink as I move these bigger ones up to the top. We don't want it to look like scrambled eggs, so that's one thing we're trying to avoid. And when it starts to look like scrambled eggs, then I'm to stop and let it just sit for 5 minutes. I'm just going to use my knife for these ones because they're nice and big. So we have to remove, for this type of recipe, some of the whey and replace it with water. So it's almost like a washing, and I can't remember what the chemical properties that are happening, but it is something to do with stopping the continuation of whatever the milk is doing in its kind of fermenting. So we have to remove 3 liters. 3 liters. Let's go. A strainer to kind of be a barrier between the curds of my measuring cup. So cup for cup, we now put back in 3 liters. Stirring as we go. So that was our washing of our curd, and this recipe specifically wanted, the water to be relatively warm, which is why I was using the kettle and then just using distilled water added to it just to cool it down a little quicker. So now we're going to add 3 tablespoons of salt. It just says plain salt, but what I know is we're always supposed to use non-iodized. So I have this, it's called fine gray sea salt. It's from France. I have connections in town. I have connections. I know a guy who can give me some fancy salt in town. You know what I mean? This is, you know, kind of what they use in higher end restaurants and bakeries. So we're gonna add in our 3 tablespoons of our French salt. Woo! That pops up. And this one I can dip it right in there. And then we're to stir it, and then drain it, and then press it, and then press it again. Oh, somewhere in there I'm gonna add our peppers. So we'll see in a minute. Okay, we are back. I've drained off most of the curd. There is just like whey bowls everywhere. There's still whey in the bottom here, but we needed to get our, I couldn't get all of the whey out just because some of it's salted, and then the other stuff, Marissa's gonna make a whey caramel. I unsuccessfully made one at Christmas time and have been afraid ever since. So I figured where I fail, I will get Marissa to pick up on it. So I'm just bringing the curd over. It's still sitting in some way. It's in the way! And then we've got to add our red peppers to it. So I was trying to get a move on with this, or I would show you up close, but this is kind of a time-sensitive moment. I need to keep going. There's still lots of whey, but it'll come out in the pressing. Probably this last bit I can pour off. I don't want to leave any of your curds. It was just like buckets and buckets of whey everywhere. Last bit of it. So I'll drain off a little bit more and then we'll add a red pepper. Okay, yay. It's getting exciting. All right, so we are gonna break this up with our hands. I have spread some vinegar on them already. And then we're gonna be adding in our red pepper. And Marissa just got home, so she can add the red pepper. Alrighty, let's get some of this. It's still got lots of whey in it, but we will add our cheese curd to our press. This is going to be a very large Havarti. Maybe we'll have to make a small one on the side. Let's see. Oh, looks like we'll fit it all in here. So we are ready to do our first flip. So we'll see how this is going. Very pizza-like again. I wonder if we have too many peppers in it. Now we flip. To it, and it's going to sit for 6 hours. So I started this Havarti much earlier, so I won't be having to get up at 4 in the morning to release it. So we'll be back in 6 hours. It's been 6 hours. We're done. So we're gonna have a look and see at our cheese. Oh, it smells so good. You just smell all the peppers. So it is pretty thin. And I realized when I first put my curd into the mold, I'm pressing down quite firmly. And I think I'm pressing too firmly, and I should just allow the weights to firm it up. So we actually have to put it into a cheese fridge. So for right now, I am just going to put it on a drying mat. We're just gonna cover it. I'm and we're gonna put it in our cheese cave. So in about 4 to 6 weeks, we will be able to sample our new Havarti. Thanks for coming along.
Yay.